Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Delta-17, the War in the Shadows, Death Sparrow. Now, I do believe, I could be wrong, but I believe this is Ken from Toy Connections. I believe this is his favorite figure. We're going to be looking at her. She is one of the bad guys, one of the bad factions for Delta-17 or against Delta-17. So anyway, we can see the wonderful blister card. Again, she has a backpack, one weapon, stand in the back. Sorry about the glare. You see some awesome artwork right there. And then on the back, you're going to get your cross-sell of all the bad guys, two different factions, and then you have Delta-17, the good guys. There is the cross-sell of the bad guys, and then you have a little file card, which is really nice. It kind of explains everything about her, so if you're interested, you can pause that and read it. But I think it's time to get into this. I'd love to know if you have any of these. Are you collecting the O-rings? These are some of the best figures that are out O-ring wise. Obviously not 6-inch wise because they're not 6 inches. But anyway, we're going to take a look at this figure, get her out there. I do have a couple of G.I. Joes right here. I don't know if I have any females up here. If I have females, I'll kind of pop it off, kind of compare them. If not, still going to compare them to some of the O-ring Joes so you can see if they actually fit in with your display. But anyway, let's get into this. Not look at this, but before we do, if you like this type of content, you like Delta-17, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit this bell notification so you're notified every time I drop Delta-17. Alright, so we got Death Sparrow out, and the first thing is we like to look at our accessories. So first off, every Delta-17 comes with a Delta-17 stand. You might wonder, how well does it work? Well, it plugs out to her feet pretty well. As you can see, she's not going to fall off. But one of the biggest things is how well does it fit on an O-ring. I like to show this off. So, looking here at our, wow, this is actually pretty tight. This one actually fits fairly tight on this Lady J. As you can see, it kind of stands on right there. I'm actually kind of worried. I don't want to break off the heel. But most of these so far, maybe it's just other figures. See, they just kind of slide right on and they'll pop right off. But it's perfectly fine because if you want to use them to stand, they don't really have a problem. They hold up pretty well. Although I never realized Lady J has a much, I guess, a little bit smaller of a foot peg, which kind of worries me. So always be careful with your O-ring figures, your classic ones. So let's get this out of the way because this is more than I wanted to show off on these. But you can use these stands. Oh my goodness. You can use these stands with the O-ring figures. Although with Lady J, kind of tight. All the other ones have been exactly like the looseness, the tolerance that I had shown you. So, alright. As for the weapons, that's what I like to look at first. With her, all you're getting is a backpack and a gun. So look at the backpack, and it looks like you have a grenade right here. More like the old German grenades, at least that's what it looks like to me. We got two little pouches. Man, two little pouches right there on the back. You can see the nice detail that's put into the flap that's going to hold it over, along with the tie downs on the side here. You got another pouch here with, again, another strap that's going to hold it down. The cover here, you can see the ring goes through it, and then obviously you can see the strap that's going to hold it down. So I think that looks pretty nice. And then you get this AK version with this nice little drum here. Now, this one does have a little bit of paint, so you get brown on the grip, and also right here. Here's your nice stock. Again, I mentioned the drum. I absolutely love that. No, man, I'm having a hard time thinking right now. No port for blast effects, but that's an O-ring. It's really not going to because it's too small. But you got a nice barrel here. You can see where she's going to be able to hold it. You got your iron sight, and again, I think this is a wonderful looking weapon. I did the weapons pack already, where it's in red and black, and it works pretty well with some of the original Palitoy action for us. So as for Death Sparrow, She has a very unique hat. It looks like maybe it's Russian. I could be completely wrong. Has a star right there. You get the hair that's hanging out there. You can see she's nice and blonde. But I do like the hat. It's got some nice detail to it. As for her face, she is designed just like all the other O-rings that the the A Real American Hero had. Nice big eyebrows. It's got the one dot for the eyes, but you do have white around it. And that's actually really big because, in my opinion, it breaks away the face from what the actual eye is. And then a little bit of paint that just kind of goes right up the top. Nice looking nose, and obviously has some nice red lipstick right there. All right, she's obviously showing her cleavage. As a matter of fact, I look at this figure and it kind of reminds me of the female from Police Academy, where she's always kind of showing off her her assets, I guess you could say. Red collar that wraps completely around. Then she has this load-bearing vest. It's not really a vest. Load-bearing... I can't think of... I don't know why. One thing I can never remember. And it really does wrap around her breasts. Alright? And then on her breast, you can see it has two little pockets. The collar that goes around. And she is sporting it open for a specific reason. Going down here, you can see the different little pouches. The color is what really makes her pop, alright? So, there's a little clasp in yellow. She has her belt that's going to wrap around here. A few more pouches. There's your clasp right there to hold that together. And then on the back, you can see the detail. This wraps around. It is supposed to be soft and padded, so it's not digging directly into the shoulders. And it's going to wrap completely around. And on the back, I like the way they did this. So this is going to be for the drop-down holster. It splits off, but you can see exactly the button that's holding it together. And then right here, it kind of clips on. It goes all the way down. You got your pistol, which is actually in black, which is nice that they changed the color. So the pistol is actually painted black, but the holster is brown. And the detail on this holster, I think, looks really good. It looks like this is an extra magazine that might be molded into it. So you have your pistol, and then you have an extra magazine right there. And it's going to wrap around her thigh. As for the boot, it looks like it's going to have shoelaces going up, and then you have this top piece, probably to keep from the shoelaces from coming untied. And you can see the little buckles right there. So real nice looking. On the bottom, you do have the pegs. The peg system is no longer round, but they do look like octagon right here. And I think that's so it can accommodate different sizes. But the the plastic on this is way different, okay? So, quickly, we'll look at her articulation. And she can't really look up, but she can look down. And like I said, I think being able to look up is something that I think the O-ring companies should start to look into. She can turn side to side. Wonderful T-pose. Swivel at the shoulders right there. She has a 90 degree elbow turn, and obviously her swivel arm battle grip. I guess one thing I also forgot to point out here. There's her logo, her insignia. It does go right down to the hands, and the paint on it looks really good. I totally missed looking at her arms. So nice gloves right there, and on this one the exact same thing. All right, now with all modern 4-inch, well, most modern 4-inch other than Hasbro and Super 7, they do swivel at the wrists, and I will once again show how that really affects the new figures compared to the old figures. It is an O-ring, which means it has a rubber band in the middle. She can turn side to side, kind of shift back and forth. There is your Jean-Claude Van Damme. Can she... Wow. So I have an issue. I can't really get her to... So this is a little problematic. That I can't get her to sit in an L pose. Which, how do I actually get them to sit in like a vehicle, and I know there's lots of vehicles out there. It just feels like there's something in the way. I might have to pop this off. I know I have other T-bars in here that have helped them a little bit, but looking at this, like that's as far as her leg goes up, and that hopefully they will correct this come series 2. So, and then as for the knee bend, there you go, 90 degree. Now we can kind of arm her up. We'll throw her backpack on here. All right, so the backpack's actually going to sit kind of low, but you can see the way that it sits. I think that looks good. Now, as for arming these figures and how the wrist articulation, I know I've shown it on all the Delta-17s that I've done, is that the original O-rings are going to be something like this. But once you can twist the wrists, we can actually make her hold the gun and actually get in some firing positions. All right, so even like that, you can see how well it points out. Kind of get her walking around like that. I am disappointed in this. This is really bothering me here. I'm not going to lie. Like, this is bothering me. So I'm going to pop this off once I get done with the review, but this is something that hopefully Delta-17 goes around. They fix this. I know they've addressed it on some of them, but clearly this one was not addressed. And I don't know if this is how it's designed. I guess I'll know when I put a new T-bar in there. So there you go. That is your Death Sparrow. A nice looking figure. Now we're going to take our Lady J. Let's pop the backpack off here. And if I put them back to back, I literally just fixed the O-ring in the Lady J. So, so looking at them, they're roughly the exact same height. Now if I take this airtight here and I pop them up to her, they are also the exact same height. Her hat actually makes her a little bit taller. But they will fit in with your O-rings, your G.I. Joes. Now maybe you want them to be part of their own faction. That's what they're meant to be. You can do that also. I think she would fit in with Cobra perfectly fine, or some sort of new faction. And again, Delta-17 isn't going anywhere. So anyway, there you go. That is your Death Sparrow. Alright, so there you go. That is your Delta-17 Death Sparrow. I think it's a nice looking figure, but I do have an issue with that leg. And that's very problematic. And I know some people might say big deal, but the fact is, I have vehicles, and Delta-17 is supposed to also want to make vehicles. So I can't really get her into that vehicle like this. So I'm going to see if the T-bar fixes it. Maybe I'll post it later. Who knows? But anyway, there you go. So far, all these figures have been pretty spot on. Really good figures. This is going to be my biggest complaint of all of them. So anyway, there you go. Delta-17. Let me know. Is this something that you're into? Do you have a story about it? Have you said, hey, you know what? I picked these up. They go perfectly with my G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero. Or maybe some of the other O-rings. There's lots of O-ring companies coming. Or some that are, yeah, here now. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. But thank you for watching. Please, if you stayed this long, take a second. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a Delta-17 figure. Now, don't go anywhere. You're probably like, hey, I got to hear a little bit more about the Delta-17. Also, I was waiting for you to straighten up your camera. There you go. Well, up here, I'm going to leave another review that I've done, and down here will be the playlist of all the Delta-17 stuff that I've done. Take care.